Around 25 years ago, I purchased a brand new Jaguar X-Type 3-litre Sport for the sum of £32,000. Same day that I signed all the paperwork for the finance, on the way to an Indian restaurant with some friends, I walked past a garage in Cookham where they had for sale a yellow left-hand drive Ferrari for £30,000. I've always half regretted going through with the Jag. In fact, I sold it and bought a Lotus Elise just 8 months later, selling the Jag for 18 grand, so a little bit of depreciation there. The Elise got me into track days, sprinting, racing, and generally gave me a passion for tinkering with cars. You really kind of have to get your hands a bit dirty if you're going to try running a Lotus. And although in the preceding 25 years I've owned many cars, I think I'm around 90 or something like that now, none of them have been a Ferrari. The 30, 40, 50, 60k price point's always been prohibitive for let's face it, a weekend car. So I started looking a few years ago for a way of getting into the equivalent of Ferrari ownership without the Ferrari price tag. The answer is the Maserati 4200 or Maserati Coupe or Spider. They were around in the early 2000s. They used the Ferrari 136 engine, which has been used as the basis for many Ferrari and Maserati models. The gearbox on the Maserati is similar to a Ferrari 360, so using an F1 paddle shift, so basically a manual gearbox but hydraulically actuated. The Maserati also is a four-seater, having seats in the back that actually you can kind of fit into. So fast forward a few months and a Historics motor auction was due to take place at Ascot Racecourse, and they had a Maserati Coupe going through. One with a little bit of a flaky history, I guess, but it was a good excuse for a day out, so off I meander. As the car came on the block for the auction, I was the only one in the room with any interest in purchasing it. However, there was an online bidder. I had the distinct feeling that the auctioneer in the room was very keen to sell it to someone in the room, and to say the hammer went down pretty quick on, I think, my second bid, before the online folks had chances to put further bids on, was probably the reason I got it, paying just under £9,000. So for the last few years I've been using the Maserati as a very occasional car, with a few DIY maintenance projects such as replacing brake discs, replacing the clutch. The engine is clearly what makes it, and with a little bit of modification, different black box and X-pipe, it really does sing like a proper Italian supercar. And for the money, it's one hell of a lot of trouble. The downside, of course, if you're not a DIYer like myself, is the incredible running costs. The clutch is going to sell about 5 grand, the brakes are going to be into the thousands. Generally, pretty much any job on this car, even taking it to specialists, is pretty sizable money considering the cost of the car.
So 3 years of ownership later, and here we are in the garage, and yeah, she is no more. So Maserati, in their infinite wisdom, decided to take the air intake up here, comes all the way down here into this box, and we have a little intake just here, just below the bumper reinforcer. So where that sits in the car means that, I mean, the car's on full droop at the minute, obviously the front corner's off. But basically, if you imagine the suspension up here, the centre of the wheel is going to be about here. You know, this is literally 6 inches off the bottom of the road. So on the way back from the first outing for this thing this year, it was particularly rainy out, as it tends to be in North Devon, and I drove through quite a big puddle. I mean, not like completely ridiculously flooded, but more than 6 inches of water, right? And yeah, idiots, it drank it, and the engine is hydrolocked. I can't turn it, can't spin the crank, so it is game over. Used prices for these things at the moment, this is obviously an 80,000 mile car, as I mentioned. It's a bit patchy on the old history, so realistically, sort of retail, I would maybe get £6 or £7 for it currently, if it was fully working, MOT'd, all that kind of good stuff. With a category, because it's now had an insurance claim against it, I bought it back from the insurance company. It cost me, it cost £2,600 to keep it, from the insurance company. So yeah, so here she sits. It owes me £2,600. If I would sell it in its current state with a hydrolocked engine, I mean, to be honest, it's probably worth, I'd probably get £3 for it, maybe £3.5 if someone was feeling generous. So yeah, it ain't worth fixing, quite simply. To rebuild the engine on this is going to be non-trivial from a cost perspective. You know, I can only imagine what a gasket kit's going to cost and all that kind of good stuff. Even using sort of used components and things like that, right? And as I say, with the actual value of the car at the end of the day, there really is no logic that makes it sensible for me to put this back on the road, quite simply, which is a shame. But there we go. So the plan is to sell it on eBay, right? We're gonna part it out the old-fashioned way of trying to make a few quid off a scrap car. So I've already done a couple of little tests, but the cunning plan is to try and stream live the dismantling process of this car. We'll see. So there are cameras sort of around the place, and I'm just still trying to sort out quite how it's going to work. I've been having a bit of a test and a play around, so you can switch camera angles and things like that to try and do it live. Just for the sake of it, right? A bit of a techie, and you know, why not? So I'll keep a record of how we go. So for example, I've already, as you can see, stripped a bit of the front end off. So, you know, with the bumper and the grille, I popped off the front brakes the other day. The headlights are out as well. In fact, the headlights have already sold. So already sold to a chap on the Sports Maserati forum, who's going to get his reconditioned. So needs another set in the meantime. So headlights, £300 each, basically. So we are 600 quid down. So now it owes us £2 to get out of it, right? So so I shall be pulling off exhaust, things like that. I've got a whole pile of stuff over on the table that I've already taken off, because when I got the car, as you saw earlier in the video, I swapped out the exhaust system. So we've now I've got the original exhaust system. I've got some spare brake discs and things like that I got off the forums. So all those things need to be sold on. As well as obviously pulling this thing apart and seeing what they go for. So I've listed a few bits on eBay already, and the plan is pull things off, list them, and just keep going, really. So there we go. We'll see where we get to. I'm hoping I'll be able to get to the remaining £2 relatively straightforward with the bits in here. But if anyone's in the market for any bits of a 2004 Maserati, then I'm your man. Drop me a note or whatever. You can get me on Sports Maserati forum, or you can just drop me a note on this YouTube. Thanks very much for watching, and catch you again soon. Bye.